Okay, so it's about an hour, and I'm taking out our dough right now, which has risen really nicely. You can see that or not. So I'm just gonna take this top off, and then I just discard the plastic wrap. Close this up. I'm going to turn the oven back on just to keep it warm. And I'm just going to, I just left the flour out on my counter, which will probably be a little bit of a pain, but I do use those scrapers, those Pampered Chef scrapers, and they work great to get that stuff off my counter. Okay, so I'm just putting a little bit of flour on my hands. I think I'm going to get a little bit more. Just so it doesn't stick to me. So I pounded it down, and now we're going to knead it for a few minutes. And the trick to bread is you really want to knead it, but not too much. You knead it too much and it gets tough. And you don't want a tough bread, yuck. You want it to be light and delicious. Okay, so I'm going to get my dough cutter here. And I'm going to cut this in half because we're going to make 2 breads. And I'm just careful of my counter because I don't want to scratch it up. Oh, my phone is ringing. Who is it? We don't know. Someone's going to let the phone ring. It might be for me, and I'm busy talking to you. So I'm going to cut this up in 3 times. Could you move that into the other room, please? Let's move into the other room. Okay, so I cut it into 3 separate parts, and now I'm going to roll it. Well, pull it, roll it, because we're going to make a braid. Pulling, pulling, pulling. So I'm just going to leave this here like that, and then I'm going to do the other one. And if you notice, I am putting flour on my hands throughout because this dough does tend to get a little sticky. Not all dough is that way. Whoop, I got a break. I'm going to add a little bit of flour and start over. And what I do is I knot it together down there, and then I just try to pull it so they're all the same length. Getting flour all over myself here. Big surprise. Okay. Whoop. Another break. It happens. No great shakes though. Bread is very forgiving. If only people were that forgiving, right? Right. Okay. So just trying to pull that down here. And we're going to start braiding now. Let me just try to fix this because there's some thin parts here. Okay, so we're going to go over once. We're just going to slide it up. Oh, I had a lot of breakages today. This does not usually happen. But we're recording, and that's probably why. So I'm just pushing it back together. Okay, you know what? I think I'm going to start over. Okay. I hear my kids arguing in the background. Good times. So I'm just kneading it back. And I'm just going to 1, 2. you're there, make sure you can see what I'm doing. I have a little rose bush over here. My cat keeps eating the leaves on it. It's a dwarf one. And I brought it in for the season because I had it late in the season. I didn't get a chance to plant it out in my gardens. I can't wait for the weather to get nicer and start taking pictures of that. What I got going on out there. We moved into this house a couple years ago. It was built in 1880. And the people that we bought it from mowed all the property, mowed everything. So when we got here, this one's a mess. When we got here, I decided not to mow certain areas because it had looked like, the first time we mowed, looked like I saw tulips. So the first season, we did not mow certain areas where I thought I saw flowers coming up, and sure enough, there are several perennial beds on this property. So we've been working really hard to bring those back to life and separate them. That this poor property's been so uncared for. Nobody's really cared about it. So I'm happy to be here, and my love of flowers and plants, I'm able to put my knowledge here. Excited about my vegetable garden. So here you go. You can see I'm braiding the bread. And it is French bread, so I like to make it a little narrow. Okay. Now I take a spatula. Now I've taken a cookie sheet and I've sprayed it down with, cooking spray, which is really the only time I really use it. I have tried using it in cake pans to bake cakes, but that was a disaster. It stuck. The cake stuck, and I mean, good thing I'm creative enough where I was able to piece the cake together. Nobody really knew. But I knew. Okay, so before we do that next one, I'm cracking an egg here, and I'm separating the yolk from the white, and this is what I usually do. I usually just use the eggshells. That's it. I'll throw this out. Rinse my hands off. And I'm just going to add a little bit of water to that, and I'm just going to whisk it up with a fork to make it foamy, and then I'm going to spread it on top of that bread. Definitely not my greatest one. It looks a little sloppy. But still going to taste good. You know, it's like I don't like to keep going over and over it because, like I got a shell in there. Like I said, your bread's going to get tough. So I'll try it twice. I'll mess it up, redo it twice. And then I just use a fork. Quick. I just add a little bit of water, maybe a tablespoon of water. And you just want to get it nice and frothy. Bring this over here so you can see what I'm doing. And then I just take a pastry brush and brush the egg white on there. Now the egg white acts as a sealant to the braid, and it makes the bread nice and shiny, glossy. So there's one. I'm going to turn the oven off, and I'm going to stick one in here, and they're going to let it rise for 30 minutes, 30 more minutes. And let's get on to our next one. Whoop. Oh, there's my dryer. Remember I said my laundry was going. I'm going to split this up 3 ways. 1, 2. And was that your friend on the phone to pick him up for basketball?
Yeah.
All right. Does he need a ride home also?
I don't know.
Can you call him back and find out?
He didn't say that.
Kids. So annoying. Sometimes. Most times. I have 2 teenagers now, so they're annoying most times. Okay. This one looks to be going a little bit better. You know, it's like I'm used to making 1 bread, and I decided to make 2. So maybe it's because I was having them be so long that it kept breaking. I don't know. Okay. I keep saying that. Okay, okay. Better than me humming, right? Right. And you're just shaping the you know, make it like a cylinder from one of the pieces. 3 separate strands there, just like you're braiding hair. And then I always take the center and go over to my right, your left, and then I take the one that's all the way over to my my left, your right, and pull it underneath. And then I just keep continuing doing that. And there's another braid. And I'm just going to separate this because this is a little bit long, and I'm just going to move it around just like that. Okay, and the same thing. Going to put this in like this, right over here. What happened here? Got a little mess up. Good, it's not my day. Okay, now I'm going to take the egg white and just spread it over here. Sorry about that. And that's it. This one's going to go in for 30 minutes to rest. And then I'll turn the oven directly on to 375. I'll cook them between 20 and 40 minutes. It always depends. I don't know why. It's always between 20 and 40 minutes. At 20 minutes I start checking, and then when they get a nice golden brown, I take them out. So what I'll do this time is I'll be taking a picture of them when they're done. So make sure you check the end of the blog at the end of Braided French Bread to see what they look like fully cooked. That way when you do it, you have a better idea what they look like. So that's it. That is 2 loaves of French braided bread. And we're having leftover chicken minestrone soup for dinner tonight. So even though you have a leftover, you can make some nice bread. And bon appetit. Have a great day.